Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Hammer. Today is Thursday, January 8th, 2026. Technology is kicking me in the teeth today, so you're getting the wide camera view of the barn because I can't get the iPhone camera to work properly. So anyway, good morning, y'all. Hope you are having a fantastic day. My name is Hammer. I am the founder of Originator Success, Grab and Go Social, and Rate Sensei. And every day at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, I hop on the internet on Facebook and YouTube to talk about what's going on with rates and pricing. Hope you will join me. If you're here this morning, say good morning. If you would like a reminder that I'm going live, I send out a text reminder as I'm pressing the button to go live. And you can sign up for that for free at hmmr.io/reminder. You can even use this cool QR code over here and go ahead and get those free text alerts. We don't sell your info or do anything strange. Not going to drunk dial you in the middle of the night or anything. So feel free to sign up for those. Remember, if you're watching the replay, all I ask is that you go ahead and give me a hashtag replay in the comments. Let me know that you were here. Let Facebook and YouTube know that you were here. See some wonderful faces this morning. Good morning, Holly. Holly, I got your email, but life is just, I was in and out of the office and I had appointments on some stuff. So I will take care of that for you, though. No problem. It'll probably be later today, though. But yeah, I'll do that for you. Mike Tebow, good morning. Allison Foy, Bill Stevens, Sean Segeloff, Heidi Graver, good morning. Great to see all of you. I'm going to ruffle some of your feathers today. I know I will. I'm going to ruffle your feathers, but I do it because I love you and I want to make you better. So stick around and we'll definitely get to that as well. Good morning, Ron Siegel. Ron Siegel says today is National English Toffee Day. Fantastic. I have a toffee place right at the bottom of my road. I don't eat toffee. Anyone a big toffee eater? I'm not a big toffee eater. Will Patterson, good morning. Great to have you here. Great to see all of you, in fact. So, all right, I'm going to jump in and get started, and we'll let everyone join, and then we'll get to some of the good stuff. Good morning, Rob Stewart. So let's go ahead and start off taking a look at the technicals. Let me go ahead and share my screen, and we will get to that for you here. Quick recap on where we were at yesterday. There was a bit of movement you could see here. We had a bit of movement yesterday. Everything in front of this line, everything over here was yesterday. Pricing comes out generally between 10 and 11. So right as pricing came out, the JOLTS data came out, the ISM non-manufacturing data came out right here. And you can see we had a little bit of a from the higher levels that we were at. This would have given us slightly better pricing. Instead, it was almost the same because of basically being here. We did see a recovery, though, in this time. Part of the reason that we saw this dip was due to the jobs data, the layoff data. So remember, jobs data stands for job openings, job opening labor turnover survey. And when we take a look here at what came in, let me go ahead and tweak the size of this screen. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. Or maybe not. Okay. So taking a look here, U.S. layoffs plans dropped at year end with more hiring to come. This was showing that there were, JOLTS data showed that the job market is stronger than anybody wants to admit. And I think what we're seeing is a lot of natural movement. I'm going to move my screen down. No, I'm not going to mess with it. We're seeing a lot of natural movement because of the AI world and things that are taking effect there. But layoffs, the companies are not hiring necessarily, but they're also not laying off as much as we could be seeing. So that's a big part of it. Right here, another headline from layoffs from the JOLTS data. Layoff pace is mid-2024. It's about 17 months. Planned job cuts totaled 35,000 for the month, a 50% slide from November, an 8% decrease from the same period a year ago. This is December's data. Still for the full year, employers announced more than 1.2 million cuts, up 58% from a year ago, the highest level since the pandemic. So, it's kind of like they talk out of both sides of their mouth on this, but it still shows, some labor market strength. Announced layoffs fell sharply in December, hitting a 17-month low, and a potential sign that the labor market is at least stabilizing, according to Challenger, Gray, and Christmas. Planned job cuts totaled 35,000 for the month, a 50% slide from November, an 8% decrease from the same period a year ago. So if it's an 8% decrease from the same period a year ago, for the full year, employers announced more than 1.2 million cuts, up 58%. Oh, so for the full year. So okay, so that's it. A full year versus a month. Let's make sure we see that. But anyway, when we take a look at the effect that had on mortgage-backed securities and mortgage bonds on the day, what happens is you saw that we actually lost a bit of the gains yesterday, and things were flat. Let me go ahead and clear that out. So, son of a bitch, their thing. I got to keep refreshing it. All right. So taking a look here, rate sheets today going to be about the same, or actually going to be a little bit worse than yesterday. Mortgage-backed securities down about 12 basis points. That's everything over here on this side of the line. You can see that we're down on the day. Jobless or job cuts or unemployment claims. Jobless claims came out this morning. We saw a little bit of a dip. Jobless claims weren't really that strong, though. Let me see if I got which article we've got on jobless claims here. The Reuters article. Here it is. Jobless claims increased marginally. So, but it wasn't, that's the problem, is it wasn't a big number. So market spawn's not liking that. As we roll into tomorrow's BLS jobless or BLS jobs data, that, I'd be locking loans heading into tomorrow. That's basically where we're at. We're already down 12 basis points. You take a look at where pricing was, where rate sheets were. Ron says, I might be the only one saying the job market is stronger. Hey, man, I'm just regurgitating data. I'm not saying anything. Every stat you see is more weakness in underlying numbers. I also, again, I'll stand by. I agree with you. There is weakness, but I think a lot of that is AI driven. People are looking for more efficiency. Even within here in my company, we are getting more done because of AI. I keep a small, lean team, and we're able to do a lot. And AI has even helped with that. So I'm using AI. In fact, I'll spin it in using AI in my workshop today. Remember, y'all, I unfortunately did not hit record on my workshop last week, so I have to do it again. I will be doing the workshop again. If you paid already, you can be on today's workshop. I'm going to send all the details out. It runs from 1 to 4 p.m. Eastern time. If you paid for the previous workshop, you don't have to pay again. I want you to feel free to jump on this one, 1 to 4 p.m. today. I'm going to have it dialed in. We've got the reason I talk about the AI and pulling AI in is because we're going to help write your success story with the AI agent that I built. So it's actually pretty cool. If you don't have a plan for 2026, there's the code, all that stuff. That's about all the pushing I'm going to do on it. Let's keep going with the other stuff. Taking a look here at Siegel says, I'm glad to have your reports at 6:30. Yesterday was at 9 when I got the report from Barry. If I was on the East Coast, half the day would have been gone by the time that came out. Thank you, Ron. I appreciate that, my man. Yeah, Ron said the last 2 weeks of jobless claims really down to the short holiday weeks. That's an easy. They're also seasonally adjusted. I've seen some weird stuff. I think there's too much emphasis put on those numbers for there. So as far as what we got today, really that's the big emphasis is the jobless claims. But there's definitely some other things I want to hit for you guys. So let me go ahead and get to the captions. Actually, let me just turn off the promo code. If you're not signed up by now, you're not signing up, I would figure. So I want to pick on some of you. How many of you posted, or how many of you at least read? Let's start there. How many of you read about Trump's tweet that, and there's all the headlines about how Trump is going to ban institutional investors this year. Trump moves to ban big investors from buying single family homes. All right. I'm going to give you guys a dose of reality, and you're probably going to hate me for it. It's not good for sales, but it's good for friends. Posts like this are not it, y'all. They're not it. I am going to throw a little thing on the bottom here for Grab and Go Social. Part of our Grab and Go Social, we create content for you to go out and post. And then part of it is coaching. And I'm going to give you some quick coaching here on this. President Trump is going to ban large investor institutions from owning single-family homes. First of all, stop acting like the guy has a magic wand. Just because he gets on Twitter or X and blasts stuff out there doesn't make it real. There's no 50-year mortgage. There's no assumable mortgage changes that have gone around. None of this stuff is real. This is yet another thing that's not going to go anywhere, and it's another thing that means nothing. It's so that Trump can say he's working on affordable housing. I don't know if he even believes this stuff. Institutional investors own an average of 2 to 3%. Well, they own 2 to 3% nationally. Now, I know there's pockets, Florida, Texas, there's pockets where they will buy a large part of a neighborhood. And I know that freaks out LOs and they point this out and it's a whole thing, but people need to rent houses. When I went broke in 2008, I needed to rent a house. I didn't want to move into an apartment. I didn't live in a city. We didn't have big apartment buildings, okay? People need to rent houses. Institutional ownership is not Satan, first of all. Everybody acts like we need more houses for people to buy, right? But yet there are also people that rent, and they're not any less worthy people or less people than people that own a house. So stop criminalizing and whatever institutional buyers. It's 2 to 3% of the market. It doesn't drive up prices because we have other demand anyway. It hasn't done anything there. They don't price fix anything because they don't own enough of the market share. Now, you could argue in small pockets, there's the exception to the rule and whatever, but it doesn't require this attention. But more so than this, posting like this, President Trump is going to ban large investors from owning single-family homes. This will greatly help inventory, especially for first-time homebuyers. You're not the advisor out there with this. You're the regurgitator. You're sharing the same viral headline garbage that everyone else has and is and different things. Don't do that. Number one, anything with Trump is going to be highly politicized. Unless you are only doing loans for one side of the aisle, I know some of you are more liberal, some of you are more conservative. If you are focused on that market, then go to town. That's smart marketing. If you want to do business with right-wing, red, conservative, GOP, whatever you want to call it, then focus on this. All right. But if you want to do business in a town, on average, whether people tell you or not, you're going to have a lot of people that don't like Trump, and you're going to have a lot of people that like Trump, and some are vocal on each side. When you put this stuff out there, this is not how you get business on social. You are a salesperson first and foremost. You need to originate loans. Stop doing this. Stop doing this. All right. And don't do it like this. President Trump's going to ban large investor institutions. No, he's not. This has gone in front of Congress a couple of different times. First of all, he doesn't just sign a pen and fix anything. And when he does, like the tariffs, you're going to see them. The tariffs they're talking, I think SCOTUS might come out with an announcement on that either this week or maybe even next week. All right. So his stroke of the pen gets knocked down more often than you think. So anyway, don't do this. Learn how to market and get business on social the right way. Go check out Grab and Go Social. Go to grabandgosocial.com. Sign up for your first month. It's $7. After that, you get it discounted. It's $97 a month. It's less than $100 a month. You're going to get, right now we have a library of over 250 different content pieces. There's new pieces for every day of the month. Check it out. But now, Siegel, you're a different story because you're California and you're fighting that market. He says his Trump comments get tons of engagement. It does help on the algorithms. I agree. But there's more to life than the algorithms, right? More to life than the algorithms. All it takes is one real estate agent that hates Trump that was giving you a couple loans a year, and then they just lose your number. Now you've lost a couple of loans a year. Now, that may not be your market, dude. That may not be for you. And that's why I said, this doesn't apply if you are willing to understand. You know what you're doing. You know the risk. You're also playing to the market. But most LOs were just throwing this stuff out there. And yes, it's the same as Biden's on student loan. And I thought Biden was an idiot too. I don't hate Trump. I hate politicians. I thought Biden's things on student loans, it's a great talking point heading into the midterms and we'll go nowhere. Exactly. That's all that it is more. It was a tweet. So anyway, stop posting this stuff out there. Be aware. Here, let's talk about some real news and things that could do something. So first of all, check this out. Anyone else notice this is very quiet. Sweeping minimum wage hikes take hold across the country. 19 states raising minimum wage, several over $15 an hour. This could be inflationary. We want to, wage inflation. Look at this. Now Bernie over here, raise the wage. It's time for 17. First it was 15, but we've had inflation. Now it's 17. Go Bernie. I don't know, dude. Anyway, we'll see if this has any effect on inflation as we go into anything. The other stuff out there, this was interesting. The Bureau of Economic Analysis plans for more catch-up on inflation data. They're going to be issuing a report on January 22nd for the PCE data, a report covering October and November personal income, consumer spending, and PCE inflation would be published on January 22nd. So we've got a couple weeks till that comes out, but I'm curious to see if this gets anything when that does come out. That's it's like a non-normal report. So we'll see if that actually does. Ron says, SCOTUS will announce tomorrow the tariffs are in line with the Trade Act of 1974. So we will definitely see. Yeah, and Ron points out the minimum wage issue with and how it's worked out in California. How come this isn't? There it is. And different things. Yeah, so minimum wage hikes have done great in damn it. Have done great in California. We have more kiosks replacing people. Yes, I mean, like fast food and stuff, I would absolutely figure. But that's going to happen anyway. It really will. So what was some other things? This was an interesting one on CNBC. Real estate agents say the housing market's starting to balance out. Of real estate agents surveyed by CNBC in the fourth quarter, 37.5 said it was a balanced market, up from 30% in the third quarter. More agents reported having at least one seller cut their price in the fourth quarter. While prices are easing, they're still historically high. When asked how affordability is impacting buyers, agents said fewer buyers left the market in the fourth quarter than the prior period and fewer delayed purchases. So this is at least good to see. The only thing that's going to fix the housing market, it's not institutional buyers and all this crap here. This is not going to fix the housing market. The only thing that's going to fix the housing market is time. Time is what it's going to take. We screwed it all up. They manipulated markets. And now, we have to just let it do its thing. This was one more, and then I'm going to wrap it up for today. Treasury Secretary Bessent, one of the guys I actually do like, says more Fed rate cuts are the only ingredient missing for a stronger economy. Can't disagree with them. If you cut the Fed rates, you are going to heat up the economy. Do we need a stronger economy? Well, that's a great question. Treasury Secretary Bessent pressed the administration's desire for lower interest rates, saying they're the key to future economic growth. Cutting interest rates will have a tangible impact on the lives of every Minnesotan, he said, because he was in Minnesota. Other event that happened in Minnesota, again, be careful what you're posting on social. I know that I could go into it, even me talking about it is dangerous, right? But with the whole ICE thing there, some people, you're going to have people watching the same video and coming away with very different opinions from the whole thing. One thing that's terrible, I feel like we've become callous to the loss of human life. We're growing hard as a country and as a people. This was a mother of three, whether she was right or wrong, whether she was making good decisions. 3 kids are without a mother now. That's just terrible. And it didn't have to happen. And I'm not placing blame on one party or the other. It takes 2 to tango. The whole thing escalated. It never had to happen. It's just sad. So just try not to lose your humanity is all I'm going to encourage you. People post things, they're angry, they feel things. Try not to lose your humanity. There's a lot of things. So, but as far as this goes, Bessent pressing the administration's desire for lower interest rates, I think he's just trying to, put it out there a little bit so Trump will leave him alone. But we're not going to see lower Fed rates anytime soon. Take a look here at Fed futures. Same place we've been. It's actually dropping down a little bit, 11%. It's, it was down from 15%. But when we compare that over the last, compare, nothing's working today. This is just I click the same thing and they're all doing it's the same screen. I don't get it. I don't know what the hell is going on. What a pain in the ass. So, well, nothing's working, so I can't give you the comparison feature. But there's no expectation. There's now everything. Let me refresh this whole page. Chrome is just, I don't know. Well, that's it. Technical difficulty. Stop sharing. I'm done. Why is this not going to full screen? Everything is broken. Everything is slow. I don't know if my internet is broken today. I don't get it. Yeah, maybe my computer is still on holiday mode. Everything is definitely a mess. So, and yes, I don't. Before you bust my chops, it'll come up. I've hit the button. Before you bust my chops, I've already set the meeting to record ahead of time, so I can't forget. So, Tom Stafford, 5-second recap of rates, float, lock. Yes, I would be locking loans ahead of tomorrow's jobs data, especially anything closing the next couple of weeks. If it's closing 3 weeks out, the jobs data is not going to matter. But we're at some of the best rates that we're going to be at, and there's really, unless next week's inflation data comes in, we'll see where that goes. And then tomorrow, we'll see if the tariff ruling from SCOTUS has anything to ruffle up markets, especially if it comes in different than what like what Siegel said, and it doesn't show the thing. We'll see what kind of an effect that has. So, all right, my friends, I'm out of here. You guys have a fantastic day, and I'll see you tomorrow. We'll get to see what the jobs data did and what the markets do. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.